what is the biggest killer on this planet right now? Well, I'm telling you, from my perspective, it's fear. Fear is, from my point of view, again, and I apologise. If I say something which offends you in some way, then I do apologise for that. But this is a strong belief of mine, and I believe that right now, the biggest crippling thing on this planet is fear. And fear alone is enough to destroy, ruin, and wreck millions of lives. And fear has taken hold of my mind in the past, and I'm sure it's had some impact on you at some point. And if it hasn't now, maybe it might do in the future. But if you don't learn, if we all don't learn to get control of this, and get control of this, and get in control of our thoughts, our feelings, and our emotions, then fear can be the most toxic, corrosive killer on this planet. And right now, there is fear spreading across this globe. And it's spreading faster than any virus. And people are struggling. You know, to be honest, what sparked this is that I was reading some really sad statistics on suicides and the number of people in the first 2 months alone of this lockdown who have been accessing in our country, in the UK, suicide help advice. And on this one course alone, over 500,000 people had gone to look for help on this one online course, which had been created, I believe it was by the NHS. What about all the people that didn't access it? What about the people that are struggling? What about the people that have just suffered on their own? So I'm telling you now, there isn't just 500,000 people in this country that probably needed to access that service. And I won't put any figures on what I think it could be, but I'm telling you it's higher than that. And there's many, many people suffering on their own, and they're suffering because of fear. The fear. There's been so much fear, anger, so much anxiety being spread around our country right now. Every step that you take, it's fear. Fear, 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 fear. To the point where now there's people looking in the mirror and the first thing they're probably thinking is fear. Fearing the day in some way. Fearing about their job. Where's my money going to come from? How am I going to support myself? How am I going to support my child, my wife, my family? What am I going to do when this furlough scheme ends and I've got no jobs to go back to? What am I going to do when all these jobs which were around before this lockdown have now gone? There are things crumbling around us, and we've got to do something about it because people are struggling. I was reading stats on how the number of elderly, those in their 70s and 80s, the number of people who in that age group have astronomically taken their own lives during this lockdown because they've just been left on their own. And also at the other end, right at the other end, which really surprised me, the number of young children who have taken their own lives at the age of 15, 16, 17, 18 during this lockdown. And we have all got to come together on this. We have all got to unite in some way. We've all got to look to help each other in some way. And we've got to get better control of our minds and our emotions and our bodies. Because if you let fear run through you, fear will kill you. As somebody far greater than I once said, the graveyard is the richest place on the planet. Because that's where all people's fears, dreams stayed with them. That all the things that they didn't dare do. There's many people out there that got trapped by fear and they never had the courage or the guts to do what they believed they could do in the deepest part of their hearts. And this is why I'm doing this. This is why I just feel compelled to do something about mental health. Because I struggle with it big time for many, 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 many years in my life. And I put on the front, I put on the mask, you know, thinking that everything was all right, denying things. You know, nobody had a clue. Nobody had a clue. Even myself, even I didn't really have a clue as to what the heck was going on. I was struggling and I didn't know what it was. And I was struggling because of fear in my own mind. Fear from things that happened in the past. Fear of future. What if, what if, what if? And we can get trapped in this what if cycle. What if it goes wrong? What if I die? What if
that virus gets me? What if I can't pay my bills? What if I can't support my family? What if? And we've all got to break out of that cycle. What if we can find a way? What if I can take action? What if this lockdown can actually be something which spurs me on to find a new way? What if it can act as something to motivate me, to make more of myself, to be more grateful for what I've got? And that's a big thing, because no matter how low you go, there is always somebody worse off than you. There's always somebody struggling more than you. You've always got something. You've always got a multitude of things. And when fear sets in, the mind narrows. It goes right in, because it's an innate response to the mind. It's a prehistoric innate response in the mind. When fear sets in, when danger comes, if you've got a saber-toothed tiger, a lion or a bear coming right down at you now, you're not thinking about loving somebody, you're not thinking about compassion, you're not thinking about anything but fighting or flighting or freezing in front of that thing. And that is what's happened. The smallest things can trigger that inside your mind. The talk of this virus on the news can trigger it. The talk of somebody or people talking about you in a way that you don't like. Anything that triggers a stressful response is triggering this fight or flight response that's built into every mammal on this planet. Anything that scares you, any fear, any anxiety, is narrowing the focus right down. And when the narrowing of your focus goes down, your perspective goes. Your perspective on life goes, because you've not got time to think about life. You've not got time to embrace everything that's going on around you. The only thing you've got time for when there's a saber-toothed tiger right in front of you is fighting for your life or fleeing for it. And then the third option is to freeze. And there's many people that are frozen right now, and it's time to start thawing it out. We've got to start doing something now. We've got to start doing something today. We've got to start doing something tomorrow, and we've got to do it on a regular basis. We've all got to take care of our mind. We've all got to make sure that we keep perspective on things. We've all got to make sure that we feel the gratitude. If we can all feel the feelings of gratitude every single day, the fact that we're all waking up every single day alive. Those of us that are here listening to this, and unfortunately there's some people that are not waking up today alive because they couldn't find a way out of their own matrix of the mind. They got trapped in it, trapped in these thoughts going over and over and over, to the point where they hardwired fear and anxiety and stress and worry inside the mind. When you lock in a state in the body and you don't know how to get out of that state, it becomes toxic, it becomes corrosive. As soon as you get trapped in a state of fear, anxiety, depression, you're triggering a chemical explosion of adrenaline, of norepinephrine, cortisol, testosterone. The body can only handle those hormones in a short period of time to help flee us from danger. And there's people who have been accessing those hormones. They've been hammering down on that pedal of those hormones, those fear hormones, because that's what they are. Adrenaline, cortisol, testosterone, norepinephrine. Those are fear hormones to get you to take action, to either fight or flight. But right now, those hormones are on overdrive. They're being pumped around people's minds and bodies like a toxic, explosive drug. And that is where anxiety and depression and stress is coming from. It's those hormones triggering feelings, which trigger thoughts, which trigger the pictures in your mind, and it goes on and on and on and on. And we've got to do something, and that's why I've decided to do this today. This is not a planned response in any way. I just felt compelled, seeing these stats, seeing the suffering that people are going through. Something has got to happen, and we've got to start doing something, and that's what the Mind Matrix, that's why I have embarked on this Mind Matrix program, and that's what the Science of Excellence has been about helping people get control over their mind so they can get control over their body, so they can live their lives the way that they want to do. And I will do as much as I can to help get techniques out there to help people. And if you want more help, then come and look at the challenges, come and look at these online programs, come and look at some of the MP3s, the Mind Matrix movies, come and look at some of the things, come and access some of the free resources that I'm trying to get out there, because you've got to believe that there's a way out of all of this. And that's when people struggle, when they can't see, hear and feel a way out of the madness that's inside their own mind, because that's what it is ultimately. There is some real dangers at times in life, but the mind manifests and blows those pictures up to be way bigger, unless you can start shrinking them down and firing them away, because that's what you can do. You can get control of your images in your mind, you can get control of those thoughts. What if some of those thoughts that you have are not real? What if some of those feelings that you're having are not the real feelings that you think that they are? They're just messages trying to tell you to act in some way that maybe you're not listening to, you're not responding to. The subconscious mind, if you're feeling in a way that you don't want to feel, it's because your subconscious mind is sending you a message telling you you need to act, you need to change, you need to do something different. But if your interpretation of that message from your subconscious isn't what it really is, then you can concoct a whole host of other stories. These stories can start growing out of control inside of our mind. And it's fear. Fear has, in my opinion, it's the biggest killer on this planet. Fear is stopping people growing. People is stopping people connecting. People is stopping people feeling certain about their lives. Fear is stopping people finding adventure anymore. They've closed the walls down. They've closed the walls down, and those walls are coming in and in and in for people. And you've got to remember that this is a big, bright, beautiful planet, and those boundaries are endless. Yeah, we've got to make sure we're taking care of these key needs. We've got to make sure that we're finding safety and security in our lives in ways which are positive for us. We've got to make sure we're seeking out these uncertain elements, looking for adventure, looking for surprise, keeping things different, changing things. We've got to keep changing our environments, trying new things, going new places, doing new things. We've got to do these things. We've got to find ways of bringing our own uniqueness into this world. We've got to make sure we're connecting with people, not just like this over videos and things like that. We've got to make effort to still keep having physical relationship with people even during these difficult times. We've got to make sure we're finding ways to grow, because if we're not growing, if you're not growing, you're dying. We're either going one way or another. Life does not stop. It does not stagnate. And if you're not going that way, you are going that way, because life is not going to stop for anybody. It's going to keep growing. It is built into our psyche to grow, to keep on growing. This whole planet has been based on growth. This whole universe has been based on growth. The growth and acceleration of growth is an endless progression of growth. And right now, if you're not growing, if you stopped, if you stagnated, if you've not been challenging yourself in different ways, if unfortunately fear has got inside your mind and you have succumbed to that fear and you've become imprisoned inside your own mind and body, then that growth element of the psyche is being starved. It's being starved of oxygen. And you've got to start breathing in the oxygen. And the greatest thing that we can all do is show compassion. One of the biggest, deepest needs of the human psyche is contributing to something beyond yourself. Beyond yourself. You know, if we look at my example right now, this is what this is about. I feel I need to do something which is far bigger, far more important than me. This is not about me. I have struggled in the past, you know, in ways that I never thought I could do. And I am not in that place, and I have not been in that place for a long time. I know it's possible. I know you do not have to struggle with anxiety, with depression, whatever negative feelings you may have. Those are all transient, temporary emotions and states of mind. Depression is a state that we've been locked into, and you can unlock yourself out of that. You can step out of that. For many people who are struggling like I was, it just feels so real in that moment in time that you cannot believe anything else other than that this is real. Well, what if it isn't? What if you're just seeing something in a way that isn't the real way that it is? What if those memories that you've got of the past, which is quite often what is trapping somebody in depression, is something to do with the past. Your needs have not been met in some way. A negative memory happened some time ago. A negative, painful event happened some time ago that has been repeated and repeated and repeated and trapped people into a state of mind where the recycling of unwanted, unpleasant memories is happening at such a deep subconscious level that you're not even aware that you're thinking about these things, but it's just there ruminating, festering in your mind. And you can get out of that. You can let go of the past emotions, which is bringing you pain today. It's the fear of the past, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the what if. Or what if you can let go of your past? What if tomorrow can be better than today? What if right now is all that we've got? There is no more than right now. The power is in now, in the present moment. And when the mind loses control, when we start to get into suffering states, when we start to feel stressed, when we start to feel anxiety, when people start to feel in depressive moods and modes, it's because we have got locked in to thinking about something that we can't get ourselves out of. So do something about it, and do something to help somebody else. Even if every single one of us does something to help one person, even if it's just smiling at somebody who hasn't maybe seen somebody for a while or is feeling down, then that might be the only smile that somebody gets that day, because maybe when they look in the mirror, there's not a smile coming back. So maybe if we all start showing some more smiles to people, the closer people, maybe we're going to start feeling a bit happier. Maybe we can unlock that state of fear and stop it spreading, and start sending out new messages of hope, messages of passion, messages of connection, messages of belief, messages of hope. Because we all need hope right now that things are going to change, things are going to improve, and they are. Things are going to, and that might mean it goes up for a bit, it goes down for a bit, it goes up for a bit. That's just life. But ultimately, over a progression of time, it is an upward curve. Things get better. Things will always get better. We all have to believe this. You have to believe this, that it is gonna, if you're not where you want to be, if you're not thinking and feeling how you want to think and feel, tomorrow you can feel better. In the next hour you can feel better. Do something to change that state of your mind. Lock yourself out. Listen to some music. Listen to your most energizing music. Watch some motivational clips. Do something. Go for a walk. Anything to get yourself out of this state of fear. So I think I've rambled on for enough now, and I'm probably losing a bit of direction in what I'm saying, so I'm going to leave it there. And as I said at the start, if I'm saying things which offend people in some way, then I do apologise, but for me, I'm passionate about killing fear, and we can all crush it. We can all say no to fear, because fear is ruining and ruling many people's lives right now. And obviously not for everybody. Not everybody is feeling that way. But for a lot of people, they are struggling, and we can do something about it. So appreciate you listening to this, and let's make today a great one. Let's make tomorrow even better, and the day after that, and the day after that, and the day after that, and we keep taking steps every day to break the shackles of fear, to start doing something about it together.